All right, well, let me open up the meeting. It is Monday, June 24th, 2024. It is 6:30 p.m. This is the regularly scheduled public meeting for the Norton Conservation Commission. And as is required, because this is a meeting conducted over Zoom, we will read the preamble that allows this to be consistent with the open meeting law. So, Dan, go ahead.
Okay. Pursuant to Governor Healy's March 29th, 2023 bill extending several COVID-era policies and programs by allowing virtual meetings to continue from March 31st, 2023 to March 31st, 2025, this meeting of the Norton Conservation Commission will be conducted via remote participation to the greatest extent possible. Specific information and the general guidelines for remote participation by members of the public and or parties with a right and or requirement to attend this meeting can be found at the end of this agenda. Members of the public attending this public hearing / meeting virtually will be allowed to make comments if they wish to do so during the portion of the hearing designated for public comment by raising their hand virtually or pressing *9 if participating by phone. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via technological means. In the event that we are unable to do so, despite best efforts, we will post on the Norton Cable website, www.nortonmediacenter.org, an audio or video recording, transcript, or other comprehensive record of proceedings as soon as possible after the meeting.
Thank you, Dan. So attending the meeting tonight are myself, Julian Kadish, Chair, Lisa Carrozza, Vice Chair, Dan Pearson, Joe Carvalho, Paxton Halsell, and Mark Fernandez. And do we have absent Tama Best? Tama Best, that's it. Although she may sign on later. And we also have present our director, Don Thomas, and our assistant, Megan Harrop. So we have, as our first new public hearing tonight, file number 250-1158 concerning 129 King Philip Road, a notice of intent for construction of a 6x19 addition to a single family home. Do we have a representative of the applicant? For whatever reason, if it's Ken Thompson, your audio isn't coming through quite yet.
It is Ken Thompson.
Yeah, it's
It says connecting to audio.
right.
Now
Okay.
it's muted.
All right, now you got to mute there, Ken. See if we can get it off mute.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you now.
We can hear you now.
So their phone doesn't need to be used. All right, my name's Ken Thompson. I'm the wetland scientist. I'd like to share the screen, John.
Yeah, I think you got it.
All right, can you see that?
We can.
Okay, let me zoom out a little bit here. There's an existing structure on the pond here. The proposal is to remove this portion of the deck and this portion of the deck and replace it with a 16x19 addition, which is going to be set on 6x6 posts sitting on concrete piers. The area is completely in the floodplain with an elevation of 73.2, something like that. And I mean, that's really the project. I've got mean high water marked here, and on the west of this house, I think it's west, this side of this house, there's wetlands extending to the pond. It's a large part of the main wetland associated with the pond. So basically, we want to replace a portion of that deck. There's like 70 square feet will be removed from the existing deck, rebuild this section of deck, and then build this 16 by 19 addition on 3 piers going down here. And I did a little calculation because we're in the floodplain, going from a 4 by 4 to a 6 by 6, we're going to impact less than a half a gallon of water. So I'm calling the flood offset de minimis. I can dig a hole underneath the addition if you'd like. You know?
Well, half a gallon is, I mean, that would potentially evaporate in a short time with enough surface. But it's not in the floodwaters now, so it's all going to be done in the dry.
Yep.
I assume. And an appropriate. Well, I'll let Lisa ask that question about sedimentation control. All right. So, are you ready for questions?
Yes, I am.
Any questions from anybody on the commission or John?
So I do have a few. So the deck that's to be removed, is that a full foundation, or is that on piles as well?
It's on piles.
Okay, so you're removing. So did you calculate the square footage of removal of those piles that you're taking out?
Well,
that's really the delta, right? The delta is the number of piles, diameter and area of piles coming out versus the new. And that's your flood displacement total, right? You want to take credit for what you're taking out. So what I'd like to see articulated somewhere on the plan or even in the findings section is how much is coming out and what is proposed, and what is the elevation of the proposed addition?
it'll be about 72.36. The first floor
Okay.
elevation. Flood elevation is 73.4. So it'll be about a foot of water in the house during a 100-year event.
My understanding that the building permit will be tied to the first floor elevation has to be a foot above flood zone. Do you know if that's true, John Thomas? I think it was last time I checked.
Yeah, so the flood elevation for this property is 73.4.
Yeah.
So that means 1 foot above that, so 74.4 would be what the building and floodplain administrator would need to sign off on.
Yeah.
I've asked for the building plans and everything of that nature. I don't know if they're ready yet, but I'm sure that this will get ironed out with the building department.
Okay, but we'll want to see a first floor elevation there, or an elevation of what is proposed, and then do you have a detail, because this all is in a resource area, do you have a detail on the, I assume they're going to be sonar tubes or piles?
Yes, I do. Let me unshare this, stop this share here. Can you see that? No? I didn't
Not
share.
quite yet.
I gotta share, sorry. There you go.
So is this part of the plans, is this detail on the plans?
Yes, the contractor has about a 40-page documentation of what he's building, all the materials and things of that nature. That has been submitted.
So this is part of the plan set that we're approving, right? Or
Yes.
looking at,
Yes.
reviewing, okay,
Reviewing.
okay.
Okay.
So, I don't know how much we're gonna deal with sediment control. How far away is the wetland?
Your screen.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Okay, so yeah, it looks like you will be, removing some, material to put those posts in, so you probably should have sediment control barrier.
Oh, absolutely. Whatever the commission requests.
Right, it needs to be shown on the plan. So it's something that you would propose and we would look at to approve. So it's definitely appropriate in this situation, so if you could add something to the plan and show us the detail. I don't really think it needs to go on the left there. You're not really protecting anything.
Well,
Just
there's
really-
there's wetlands over here, off to the left. I'm just wrapping the area that's gonna be under construction. So I mean, I can cut it off here. But basically, I would recommend an 8-inch mulch sock to wrap the area. And
Okay,
we
you just want
talked
to give the
about
contractor enough room to work in there so they don't degrade the sediment.
Yep, that's
That's all,
fine.
that's
I
all.
can move it
Okay.
out to the property boundaries.
So if you could add that to the plan and with the detail, that would be great.
Okay, that'd be fine.
I mean, your space is tight. It looks like most of this will just have to be dug by hand with post hole diggers.
Well, when we talked about displacement and things like that, it's a series of posts out here, they're gonna be replaced in here. So that's equal. The only increase is gonna be these 3 in the center and down in here. So that's the increase.
Right, so we'll
We
need
go
the
from
delta.
a 4x4 to a 6x6.
So we'll need the total for that for the findings for,
That'd be fine. I'll get them.
And the site looks fairly flat. Is that,
It is really flat. Would you like to see a picture of it?
um,
33.
I'm okay with your drawing, so.
We're 33 feet off the high water mark. Just, somebody was asking a question. I just couldn't type fast enough.
okay. Thank you.
Mhm.
So I think we need to show the elevation of that of the addition, finished floor elevation, add the sediment control line, add a detail, and give us the impact numbers and then the removal numbers for those posts.
Yes, ma'am.
Lisa, are you all set? Okay. Any other questions from commission members or John, or for that matter, anyone in the meeting? You can either raise your hand by going to the reactions button or just speaking up. So this is a notice. So John, do we have everything we need to, oh no, we have. So we will need to continue just so we can get those numbers, but potentially, we can close next meeting and consider an order of conditions at that time. Is that your thought, John?
Yeah, I'd say that seems reasonable.
Mr. Thompson, is that acceptable to you?
Yes, sir.
I mean, it won't delay your project at all if we close next time, so.
Okay.
Make a motion to continue.
Second.
We have a motion by Joe,
Second,
by Lisa, and a roll call vote. Having a little difficulty with the sunlight here, so we're gonna go with Dan and Joe. How do you vote?
aye.
Aye.
And Paxton and Lisa?
Aye.
And Mark?
Aye.
And I'll throw in an aye. I think I got everybody. So the motion carries. I don't know if you even have to sign on next time. It's not, I mean, as long as you get the material to John in a timely fashion.
When's the next meeting?
The next meeting is July 8th.
Okay. Well, thank you for your time, everybody.
You bet. Thank you.
Thanks for coming in.
That completes our new public hearings. But our next item is a continued public hearing concerning file number 250-1052, Wading River Estates. This was a request for an amendment, and the amendment relates to a reduced footprint of the project. I don't know if we can, whoever's presenting it, is it you, Mr. Dunn, who's going to present? If we can
Yes, sir.
share a plan, if
Okay.
you have a plan. And this was an item that we went on a sidewalk for, and at the right time we can comment on our sidewalk. I think Joe and I were there.
Of course, I just closed out the one I wanted. Okay, can everybody see this plan now?
Yeah, that,
And then this is the front end of the site. Can everybody see this plan here?
yeah, and one of the things I was impressed with is the size of it. So maybe if you have the figure, what's the total acreage of this site?
Let's see here. Roughly around, the total acreage is about 47.38 acres, which a majority of it is wetland, 17 acres of it. 30 acres is upland. However, as you remember, Mr. Chairman, during the site walk, the majority of this site work that we're proposing is to the front of the site and not even close to the Wading River. And the reduction of this plan even takes us further out of the riverfront area than we were previously when we originally got approved by this board and the planning board. So when we did our site walk, we parked here in the driveway, and then walked down through this way along this path. We cut through the turtle nesting area into this area here, and then got out to a little bit out to the back. Let me go to the next page. And then we got out, well, that's the wrong way, sorry. And then I got out into this area here, and we could see this is where the paths were that we were on, and we could see these wetland areas, the flags in the distance when we were standing in and around this area. Remember this big mound that we were next to?
Yeah.
So, so this is about approximately how far we got through the sidewalk. So all of this area here to the back of the site is land to remain. We can go to that plan. So you can actually see the overall plan and how much of the limit of work has come in, and where we had work in this area before with the other houses and the driveways going around and so on and so forth. So all of this area here stays undisturbed.
So that mound, that rather large mound,
Yeah.
It looks like it's in the undisturbed area. Is that your sense?
Let me just double check that. Okay, hold on. Yeah, so this is that mound we were looking at right here. So all of that mound is to stay, is to remain. We're not going to be disturbing it.
So I will just comment that, the area designated turtle nesting area, in fact, has turtles, has turtle eggs, and turtle nests. So that is going to be preserved. And
That is correct. And that, if you may remember, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission, we've actually increased that area in this revised plan. So I did take pictures of the parts of the shells that were remaining. I did take pictures of the painted turtle that we saw that was, walking around the area. So going along with your agent at the time's comments and concerns are even confirmed again with what we did during the site walk, as well as increasing that turtle nesting area. And also remember, we are not in a natural heritage area, and we're not required to do all these sweeps and things like that, because it's not a endangered species or anything like that type of a habitat. However, we are making effort to protect the species habitat. And as you remember walking the site, very, very sandy conditions out there, ideal for the turtles. Even in this area here, part of this basin, the bottom of this basin is to be sand, based on your previous peer review engineer's comments. So that's going to continue to provide area for these turtles and other animals to come and do what they need to do.
All right, Joe, you were on the site walk. I don't know if you have any comments you want to make about this at all.
Absolutely not. The site was properly staked, properly flagged. The surveyors answered all and any questions that I had, and I think it was pretty straightforward when we were out there.
Thank you very much, Joe.
Thank you.
John, do you have any comments before we open it up to anybody who wants to comment or to ask a question about this project?
The only thing that I will say is that we did receive a peer review memo from Pat Brennan, and I guess he had some comments, majorly minor, but some plan changes and revisions, obviously, that I think Brian's going to talk about this evening as well.
All right. So, Brian, you want to do that, and then we'll open it up to any questions from the audience?
Sure. So here's the peer review comment letter or memo that Mr. Brennan had prepared. As you can see, his comments are very, very minor in nature, because it does call for a reduction in the area of pavement. And his peer review was really, really focused on the stormwater system, water quality, and erosion control. So very, very minor comments. Number one, we need to provide him with our detailed DSS removal calculations, which we have no problem doing. Number two is really about the trench drain, and we need to add a catch basin with a sump on it, so that we get a little bit more TSS removal. Number three, he wants our binder detail to be a monolithic Cape Cod berm, so that when the binder is placed down, there will be half of the Cape Cod berm installed as a monolithic pour of the roadway. Specifications on the sediment forebay. He wanted us to provide that. We don't have a problem with that. To limit infiltration through the sediment forebay, he wants us to change our 4 inches of loam to 6 to 12. We don't have an issue with that. He wants us to call out number 6, the Mass DOT specifications for stone riprap pipe ends, which is really the size of the stone that are in the plunge pool and the spillway. Not a big deal. Very, very minor again. Number 7 is erosion control and dewatering notes. He wants us to remove the hay bale section of that and put in the wattles, because the hay bales are sometimes have invasive species in them. Number 8, the location of proposed inspection ports and the subsurface infiltration system are just a little bit different on the plan to the detail. Not an issue, we can make that change. Here is his attention to detail. As you can see, the outlet control structure plan that we have on sheet C10 has 0.05 of a foot difference. We will correct that. That's why I'm saying attention to detail. And then again here, number 10, attention to detail on the differences on the other elevation, which is also a de minimis change to what we've prepared. He did double check the volume of the basins. He does concur with that. And since we have a reduction in the impervious area of the site, he shows that the site is in conformance with the stormwater operation and maintenance plan. So very, very minor comments from Mr. Brennan, and we appreciate his attention to detail. We can make those minor changes, and we would respectfully, ask that you close the public hearing after you do have commentary or anybody that is in the public that wants to comment, so that we can move on to the planning board with these minor changes in hand, Mr. Chairman.
Okay,
Julian, before we open it up, I have a couple of questions.
sure, go ahead.
So if we go back to the plans that shows the area that's going to remain undisturbed, what's going to happen to that property? Is it going into any type of easement or restriction or?
No, it's just property to remain. It is my understanding that the developer or the owners have no intent of, going any further. If you notice also, we're up against riverfront buffers. So let's go to that plan. So if you look at this plan here, which was the ANRAD, part of the ANRAD that you approved, and the original subdivision that was here, if you remember, it was called Strawberry Fields. And it was a 40B affordable housing project. And it actually had a roadway that came down here, and there was houses down in this area here. But if you look
Yes,
at
I
all of
do
our
remember
buffer
that.
zones, we're in the 100-foot buffer zone. You're in the riverfront area. And when you start bringing and putting houses down in that area, we're up against the limitation of 10% of the land area to be altered, and so on and so forth. So it makes it more difficult to meet the performance standards and the regulations of the Wetland Protection Act.
Right,
So,
okay, I understand all that. Where I'm going with this is I understand what's in front of us now is what we're looking at and voting on, and that you've scaled it back. I understand that. How, so if that's gonna remain, is it gonna be like a condo association or a homeowners association?
there's going to be a homeowners association associated with this project, yes. And there is an affordable component through Article 16 through the planning board, which is, I think, 4 of the units are affordable. But there's no, if you remember, this commission issued an order of conditions, and I don't think there was any restrictions placed on this land other than no further alteration past the limit of the work.
I'm not looking for a restriction. So John Thomas, we need to think kind of big picture. How do we, like any other homeowner, how we prevent people from cutting any vegetation past the limits that are approved in this order? Are there existing pathways right now to the river? We don't want people cutting in their own. So I think we need to think about reining this in a bit in terms of access, and do we put up some type of barrier somewhere?
I'd have to read through what the original order conditions had in there, because this is a request for amendment. So I need to take a look to see if
Well,
there
it's
was.
not to say we can't add another condition.
No, and I know that's correct. So
Yeah.
let me just double check to
Okay.
see if there was anything in there originally.
Okay, and because there are some, there are, 11, outstanding comments made by the peer reviewer, I would suggest that we, continue this until the plans, reflect addressing those comments. That's all I had.
Yeah, Mr. Dunn, you mentioned you want to proceed with planning board, but that simple housekeeping shouldn't really delay your planning board appearance, should it?
No, I mean, well, our planning board appearance is tomorrow night, Mr. Chairman.
Oh, okay. So it shouldn't matter. I mean, you mentioned that. I think your peer reviewer, you said the comments are minor, so I don't think if you can just get the corrected set to us, and then we potentially will close next meeting and then even act on the revised amendment at that time. So it shouldn't slow you down at all.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments from commission members? And if not, anyone in the meeting want to make a comment or ask a question about this revision of the project? So we can, I think at this point, consider a motion to continue. Our next meeting is the 8th of July. And assuming you can get all of the those minor design changes on the plans fairly quickly, we can close the meeting on the 8th and then consider the order of conditions.
Okay, so the meeting is on July 8th, which means
Yeah.
I need to get the plans done by, this week, right? Because I don't know what Mr. Brennan's schedule is.
He's pretty good. He usually gets back. If they're minor like this, he'll get back within 2 to 3 days.
Okay,
All right, I think we're all set for a motion to continue until July 8th.
So moved.
Second.
Second,
Clarify, was that Mark who made the motion?
I think that was Joe making the motion and then
Joe?
me seconding.
Okay. Motion by Joe, seconded by Mark. Roll call vote, Joe and Lisa. How do you vote?
Aye.
aye.
Dan and Mark.
Aye.
Aye.
Paxton?
Aye.
And I'll throw in an aye, and the motion carried. So, Mr. Dunn, I don't know if you have to participate in the meeting of the 8th. If everything is all set, we would go over it and then close.
I'll plan on being on the meeting on the 8th just to make sure, Mr. Chairman.
You bet. Okay.
Okay, thank you very much, everybody, for your time. Appreciate it.
You bet.
Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. Bye now, guys. Ladies. Bye
So
now.
that completes our public hearings. We now have a whole collection of orders of conditions.
Can I make a
To
request before we
review.
do that? So
Sure.
we received, I think it would be best if we could take a couple things. There's 14 Guy Street. He's here tonight for new business, along with the 92 East Main Street project. I don't think they want to sit for an hour as we discuss these orders. So if we could just bump them up, that would be great.
Let's take them now. Yep.
It's going to take us an hour to do those orders, you think?
I don't know. I don't think we've ever done 6 orders before, so I'm just saying there could be some challenges.
Somehow I don't have that, that portion of the agenda. I don't know where. All right, well, that's fine. So,
Julian, the enforcement is the top. You can't really see it. It's the first bullet on the second page.
oh, 90, oh, yes, I found it. Okay. Who's going to talk about that?
So there's 14 Guy Street. I think they should probably go first. It should be pretty quick.
All
David,
right.
David, are you
So,
ready to talk?
Yes. I want to thank everybody for fitting me in tonight. This is just really a determination on a direction for 14 Guy Street. My client would like to do an addition to the existing order of conditions. He would like to put up a 18 by 30 foot storage garage and a stone or gravel driveway out to the street. Now, this will include working outside the existing limit of work area on the original order conditions. And I was unaware of this. I think that might trigger, so I'm here tonight to see if this would trigger a request for amendment to the order, or should we file a new NOI? I can show you the plan really quickly if you like, and
Yeah, that will be
If
helpful.
you could show us the plan, that would be,
yeah, I'll show it. I can share the screen. And I'm gonna bring up the plan.
as a very impressive, blue, piece of land.
So, can everybody see the plan?
Yeah, maybe if you could bring it, yes, that looks good.
So, what's in red is going to be the amendment or actually new NOI. You can see this gray line here. This is on the original order of conditions for the erosion control. So we're going to be outside in the pre-disturbed lawn area here and here. I did talk to the building inspector. He has no problem with accessing a stone drive out to Edward Street and putting in this new proposed 18 by 30. This existing shed here would be moved over here. So everything in red is basically what we'd like to do. And it will involve working outside the existing limited work area on the order condition, on the order.
And you're getting much closer to the 25-foot
Yes,
than with
Right
the
in
previous
here.
project.
so I guess it comes down to a direction in which we should file this, a new NOI or an amendment to the existing order.
What's
Well-
the timing on the work? Is the other part of this already been performed, or?
They're still constructing the house, in the septic system. This was approved, I think less than a month ago.
So are you gonna do it following the septic system work? Or, it right on the heels of it, or is it gonna
If we did the amendment, we would do it congruently with the rest of the construction of the site.
be, typically, DEP's position is they only wanna see one file number per site, if you can help it. And to me, the litmus test is, do we need to add any conditions to the existing order to cover this extra work? And if the answer to that is yes, then it's screaming for an amended order. And the one thing that strikes me here is you're gonna have a gravel driveway. And what's to prevent continuous fines from washing from you right at the property line there? So
Yeah,
it's one
that's-
thing I would just ask you to consider when you do
Yes,
come in.
absolutely. Yep.
Okay. But, I mean, you're chewing up the whole rest of the site. There's nothing left to it after that in the buffer zone. You're basically occupying every inch of the buffer with something. So I do think it warrants an amended order. I mean, in lieu of another filing, especially if you're gonna do it in
So
a
this would-
timely manner.
Your opinion would be that this would file under an amendment or a new NOI?
An amended.
An
That's
amendment.
just, I'm only one person though.
I was confused on which way.
Well, yeah, let me ask John a question. I mean, you're monitoring the field work. And, you know, the paperwork, as far as I'm concerned, doesn't matter as long as the project is monitored as it's under construction. So what is your thought, John? I mean, certainly I can't see a new filing, but do you prefer an amendment versus an administrative note in the record, or how would you want it done?
I mean, for me, on a project like this, I mean, they already have a notice of intent. I mean, they could file an RDA for the other work. It's just, you know, because we can't have two multiple orders for the same project site, like Lisa indicated. So, you know, you could do an amendment or you can do an RDA. To me, it doesn't matter. It's all going to get permitted anyway. It's just they're increasing the limit of work on this project, but if the commission's okay with it, because they're actively working on this site, it's not like this has been constructed and it's finished. So we can't close this project out. So, you know, it's kind of if they can loop it all into one project, that would probably be the easiest way. So it's all kind of buttoned into one permit. And I would prefer for this unique case to put it under an amendment. If the commission's willing to acknowledge that, yes, the limit of work is increasing for this site, but we find that, you know, it would go smoother, this whole entire process, because we would have conditions that we'd be able to put in there for the amendment. So I think what Lisa said is correct, and I think we should go with that if you want my opinion. But I think that's my vote if I was to choose one on this.
So is it Mr. Clennert?
Yes.
How long would it take you to file the amendment? Next time?
We have the certified list of abutters in the office now. I can fill out the paperwork and get the advertisements out this week. I have to inform the abutters again and put an advertisement in the paper. And then fill out the affidavit and the Form 5A request for amendment. That's a pretty generic form, and it's pretty much all filled out as we speak. So easily by the end of this week, I could have everything in motion.
All right. So any other questions or comments from the commission? So this is really more informational, as I understand it. It's not really a
No, there's no vote. This is just open discussion.
Yeah, so it sounds like, to me, your answer is put together an amendment, and as soon as it's can be acted on, it seems fairly straightforward.
Yeah, that's all I was looking for, is direction to proceed with this these changes.
All right, well, if there are no further questions or comments, I think we can wrap it up and move on to the other issue.
All right, I appreciate your input. Thank you, and have a good night.
Thanks, David.
Thanks for coming in.
Thank you. And 92 East Main Street, who's going to comment on that and describe what's going on there?
Good evening, members of the commission. Brad Holmes from Environmental Consultant Restoration. Here on behalf of Joe Correnti, who's here as well, for 92 East Main Street. We did submit a request for determination of applicability for a tight tank to handle floor drains at the property, which will be coming in front of you the next meeting or so. But this pertains to the placement of asphalt millings over the parking area, the back of the lot. I did get a chance to meet with John Thomas and our crew on Thursday and kind of go over the site conditions somewhat and the tasks that are at hand that need to be evaluated and then brought back to the commission. So the purpose of our discussion tonight is just to tell you that we're working towards it. We're looking forward to respond to the commission and bring it back a proposal to the commission that's either alternative A or alternative B that is submitted to the commission. What we're looking to do is if we restore the area to what it was previously existing prior to the placement of the asphalt millings, we would look to handle that under an enforcement order with the commission, hopefully a friendly enforcement order. If we were to modify or keep or revise the milling area to something different than what existed previously, we wouldn't be able to do that under an enforcement order. We'd have to prepare and submit a notice of intent. So that is what we would do. But in order to proceed down those avenues, we need to figure out the limits of the parking area to what existed previously. We have to compare it against the riverfront redevelopment standards to calculate degraded areas and how it would work if we were to propose and submit a notice of intent. So what we're doing is working towards that. We haven't been able to get further into research since we met with John on site last week, but the intent of our meeting was to come to the commission and let you know that we are working on it, and we'll be coming back to the commission with what our thoughts are. I did put a timeline in there because I know your next meeting is July 9th, and I'm sure you'd like to have some information of what our plans are by then. And if we were to come up with a solution, we'd have a application or a restoration proposal in for the following meeting by the 23rd, or other timelines that you seek, but that's what was proposed. So with that, I'll get back to you.
So this site is the former Midway Garage site, or just trying to figure out where it is?
Yes, it's got buildings in the front,
Right.
Park storage in the back. It's historically altered prior to the regulations, and with that research comes degraded versus not degraded and physical uses.
All right, I just have to be sure that what you said is correct. You said our next meeting is July 9th. We have it listed as 8th. So let me just make sure.
I took it. It could be my mistake. Whatever your next meeting, I thought I took it from.
Oh
the
yeah,
website.
it is the 8th and after that, the 22nd of July.
Okay.
All right.
I'll correct that a bit.
Okay, so so this is basically about there's going to be a filing with a remedial plan. Is that a fair statement?
Yes, either a response to the enforcement order to work through the enforcement order as restoration, or come back to the commission with a notice of intent. So our intent here tonight is just to let you know that we're not ignoring the enforcement order. We're working towards it, and we'll be coming back with a proposal as soon as we can.
So John, presumably it will eventually result in a notice of intent with regard to the work to be done. Is that correct? Or
Well, that all depends on what they want to do at the site. I mean, if they want to potentially develop the area further in the rear, then they will need to come in front with a notice of intent. But if they're going to do work under an enforcement order, which is, at the discretion of the commission, I sent them a violation. So this is in response to the violation. They're here tonight as reference, just to kind of make that known to the commission. And that is
so
for,
these
go ahead.
These millings put in the riverfront. Is that what the violation is?
That's correct. So they came in front with a request for determination. I did some due diligence research on the property, took a look at the aerial photogrammetry, and saw that there were some significant changes, which I informed them, and we've had a conversation, and I sent over a letter requesting that they come to the meeting to talk and discuss what they plan on doing with the property. So that's why they're here tonight. That's why Brad's here tonight. Is to say that they have two directions they could go. They could either go through the enforcement route to do mitigation for the property, or they can come in for an after action notice of intent. But that's going to require a lot more effort from their standpoint, as Brad indicated. So it's up to them on which direction they want to pursue. They're just here tonight to let us know that they've got two options on the table, and they're still working it out to see which ones they want to do.
All right.
Thank
So
you.
I guess it's fair to say we'll hear more from you.
That's correct.
All right. Well, thank you, Brad.
Thanks, Brad.
Thank you. Good night.
So we are now, I believe, at the list of orders of conditions. So on Google Drive, I could not print these. I couldn't print most of the orders of conditions. No option. So we're going to see. I had them up on the screen. We're going to see if I can retrieve them. Yes, I can. All right. So first on the list is file number 250-1152, 0 Crane Street, Lot B. Let's see. Lot B. So we have, I mean, everything is pretty much standard text, although we have one item in the findings, which is highlighted proposed work for the construction of new residential home is associated with driveway grading and utilities. Any comments about this set of orders that is confined to Lot B?
I think you just want to adjust your page numbers.
Well, this might be the Google Drive problem. You see there's 6, and what is the adjustment? 6 pages total?
Right. First one says 1 of 2. Second one says 2 of 2. And then we get 3 of 2. Then we get really crazy, 4 of 2. 5 of 2.
Well,
That's what I'm seeing.
yeah,
But anyway, just make sure it's right on the final.
yeah, but Google Drive does some crazy
Okay.
some crazy
Just make
things.
sure it's right on the final. That's all.
So the discrepancy I have is in Google Drive, it says 1 of 6.
Yeah, mine is saying 1 of 6 and then 2 of 6. So it's
Okay.
I don't trust Google Drive with the formatting. I'm going to tell you that right now. That's
And
one of my complaints with them.
and I'm going to say there's a bug. I have no idea where it comes from, but when I click on the link to Google Drive, the period after Google and before com gets removed. So then it says site can't be reached. And I've got to put the period back and then I can get into it. So where the hell that comes from? I have no idea. But I've learned that trick. So if we're all set with this one, I think any further questions or comments, or we can accept the draft as presented.
I'll make a motion to issue the order of conditions for file 250-1152 as discussed.
A motion by Lisa, seconded by seconded by Paxton. So Mark and Dan, how do you vote?
Aye.
And it looks like Dan got an aye in there. Paxton and Joe.
Aye. Abstention.
And Lisa?
Aye.
And I'll throw in an aye, so I think it's 5 ayes and an abstention. The motion carries to approve the draft minutes as submitted. Our next one is Lot C. Lot C is identical.
Almost.
I didn't see this one listed in my Google Drive.
You say almost. What's different? I mean,
The header, so it's a different. It's a
oh,
different
well,
line.
all right. It's C instead of B, but the same thing away from the Our
So the
standard
the
text is
conditions are
highlighted, the
exactly the
proposed
same?
work.
It's the same thing for the other house, yes.
Okay. Okay, then I'll make a motion to, issue the order of conditions for file 250-1153 as written.
Motion by Lisa, seconded by?
Second.
Second,
Seconded by Mark. Mark beat you to the punch, so Mark and Dan, how do you vote?
Aye.
yes, aye.
Paxton and Lisa,
Aye.
Aye.
and Joe?
Joe abstains.
Abstention.
Yeah.
Okay. And I'll throw in, an aye. So, 5 ayes, 1 abstention. And next item is, file number 250-1154, Lot D, order of conditions. Lot
This one just,
D is a little different.
this one is different because we have riverfront area associated with this lot. So it's just me highlighting the findings of how much, riverfront area, is basically allowable in the future, so.
All right. And nothing else is different from our standard.
I'll make a motion
right.
to, issue the order of conditions for file 250-1154 as written.
Second,
Well, I'm gonna give it to Dan because he was moving. Your internet connection must be slow. All right, so motion by Lisa, seconded by Dan, so Mark and Dan.
Aye.
aye.
Paxton and Lisa,
Aye.
Aye.
and Joe, I'm assuming an abstention?
Abstain.
Okay, and I'll throw in an aye. Again, 5 ayes and 1 abstention. File number 250-1156, 61 Main Street. I think that was the Honeydew Donuts lot, and that has a lot of stuff in it. So we have in the findings, the work is for interior parking and lot improvements, but then we have other stormwater conditions on number 10.
So I tried to write
Talks
this.
about the,
Yeah, I tried to write this and I looked over the meeting minutes and had to watch some of the videotape again to kind of try to capture everybody's thoughts during the meeting. So I tried to incorporate it into writing it down. This took me about a half an hour to do because this is a very unique case. But I just wanted to see if the commission was amenable to the stormwater conditions that I have in here, along with some of the perpetual conditions that I put in here as well. So just read it over and let me know if you have any suggestions or comments or feedback.
yeah, I think you captured it. I mean, you captured the discussion.
So Joe,
So,
just caveat it by saying in the event that the applicant does not file a new notice of intent, just to clarify the first part of that sentence, right?
So for instance, you're talking about the condition.
Oh, I'm sorry, number 10, just to
Number 10?
clarify.
Okay.
Yeah. Instead of just, well, you can leave that there as a new site design, but I would say in the event that they don't file a new, notice of intent showing the stormwater, then you can continue with, a new notice of intent, including new site design and stormwater management improvement. That's all.
Got it.
So what's 39 about? I don't request a COC. Oh, this is to close it out for the, but this is the order though, right? Oh, maybe request the COC. Okay. So in other words, we'd be closing this out for them. Okay. I got it.
Yeah, we're kind of putting the horse before the,
Yeah.
or the cart before the horse on this one.
Well, there has to be a certain amount of trust, and that the all of this took place in good faith. We certainly have had prior instances where we have been told things not in good faith,
Yeah.
but fortunately,
I think this sets us up for enough protection for having this in here, as Lisa suggested, being a perpetual condition, but also having it a condition as well. I think that's gonna give the commission a little bit more, I guess, leverage when it comes to making sure that this occurs or this happens. Resolving these situations, I guess, that have occurred on the property.
yeah, but I think, you know, most people want to live normal lives of having a project in mind and going forward with the project. They don't want to create self-defeating situations. So my sense is this is going to work out.
So John, for 41, you might just want to write it the same way you did number 10. That's all. 41's in perpetuity.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, I'll make a motion if we're ready.
I think we're ready.
Okay, to issue the order conditions for file 250-1156 as discussed.
Second.
Second.
We have a motion by Lisa, seconded by Joe, I believe, and roll call vote. Mark and Dan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye.
Paxton and Lisa?
Aye.
Aye.
Joe?
Aye.
And I'll throw in an aye. The motion carries. File number 250-1144, 0 Reservoir Street. So we have the findings. Work is for number 4. The work is for construction of subdivision. Special conditions involving 1 D and E. And then special condition or administrative condition 7. And then in stormwater, a boatload.
John, do we have the quantification of disturbance to the 25? We know.
I think Cameron's on the call. Cameron, you there?
Yeah, sorry. I don't have it off the top of my head right off. I can
I
get
mean, we're
that.
calling it minor, and I really think we should quantify it for the record, because I want to see it on the as-built.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I know we're proposing to have a arborist there for to take a tree inventory of the area to kind of figure out what we have to do to put those in.
So
All right, so maybe we just put that as a
deliverable.
prior to construction condition. It says
Okay.
based on the recommendations of the arborist or whatever, because, you know, we don't know what the result of that could be either, right? So, yeah, why don't we add that as a deliverable, but to report back to us on the recommendations of the arborist and the square footage of the disturbance within the 25, that would be great.
Should we just call it a no disturbance quantification plan? Arborist and quantification plan, or?
Call it a no disturbance plan.
perhaps to say that to be delivered, at the time of the pre-construction hearing?
Meeting, yes. That's what I'm gonna put in the recommendations, yes.
Okay. John Thomas, number 12.
Yes.
The applicant shall provide for and fund third-party inspection a qualified technical consultant. Are we going to determine that? Should we just, I think we should say a PE.
That's fine, yeah.
Okay.
Qualified professional engineer.
Yeah. Well, one would hope that a PE is qualified. It might be redundant, but
Let's just say a
in some
professional.
circles it's not.
I don't want to go there.
That was language that was prepared by a qualified PE as a peer reviewer to another project that I was involved with. So I took it from that. I took all of this language from another order of conditions.
Okay.
But happy to include, the specific requirement.
Oh, yeah, you had it in 13. It's really endorsed by a licensed. Okay, yeah. Okay, so we are gonna ask for the bond. Okay, and who's going to come up with a figure on the bond?
I'm leaving it up to the planning board to figure that out.
Okay, good.
It's tied to the bond process with the planning board.
Okay,
The board is to establish the bond for the roadway. This would be a
Okay.
component of that work, so I think it would fit into that overall bond process.
And I've coordinated with the town planner on this matter as well, so they're aware of the situation.
so because it's their bond, we're not gonna opine on, so I'm looking at 14, so we're not gonna have any say on it? We're just gonna accept it, right?
We are going to work in collaboration with them. So that is where I am going to, with the board's assistance, is work with the planning board to make sure that we're comfortable with it as well.
Okay. Oh, 16 a little too open-ended for my liking.
Okay.
Who determines what far enough away is? I love that wiggle. That's a little too wiggly for me. So, do they have dedicated snow storage areas on the plan?
I don't believe so.
Okay, I see another condition coming. I see a condition that says they have to provide snow storage plan. So somebody needs to draw the line in the sand, right? You can't just say far enough away. That's just way too loosey-goosey. All right. So once that's done, we're gonna update, so John, we probably want to change 16 to say the O&M manual should provide that snow to be stored, that should reference the plan that they're gonna prepare for us.
I'm putting a condition under prior to commencement of any soil disturbance activities, they're going to provide us a snow storage plan. So I'm going to actually add that to 16 and
Okay,
incorporate that into 16. So it's going to match
Okay.
the snow storage plan.
okay, yeah, just take the words far enough away. It's just not tight enough. Okay,
I'm going to say as depicted on snow storage plan.
yep. Okay, so 19,
No here anymore.
what's that?
I set up my tractor for snow blowing this year and never used it.
So
that's
So
when,
19, oh, sorry.
go ahead.
19, you want to put Julian and Lisa live right around the corner from this site, and you better watch out, because you know me, I'll be on the phone every Friday when I'm off, going,
Yeah,
John,
she,
I'm
she,
tracking.
Ju- yeah, Lisa does make the rounds, just so you know, and she does
I'm the
live near the
tracking
area.
police.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's the one.
So just, no, we can't have that as a condition, but I want to.
I mean,
If
we
I
can-
gave it to John to include it, I
We-
think it's appropriate.
we can
Yeah.
we can put that in there if you want, Lisa.
No. Okay. Because then I'll be obligated. There's too much pressure. It's supposed to be random.
Yeah, who knows? You guys could find yourself on TikTok.
Okay. Okay. All right, so we got those changes, John?
We do.
Okay. Is anybody ready for a motion?
I think we are.
I will make a motion to issue an order of conditions for, excuse me, file 250-1144 as discussed.
Second.
Second.
That time Mark got it. So, motion by Lisa, seconded by Mark. Mark, Dan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye.
Paxton and Lisa
Aye.
Aye.
and Joe.
Aye.
And I'll vote aye as well. Motion carries. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, if I may, just quickly, one of the conditions I think we presented to the commission before we started this hearing on the NOI was that subdivision approval requires the grant of a conservation restriction. I've started working, well, I've been working a little bit with John, but I've started working with the Executive Office of Environmental Affairs. As a new condition, as part of that process, is something called a baseline report, which is supposed to be reviewed and accepted by the commission as part of the formal filing that goes to EOEA. I think it's basically taking the existing conditions portion of the notice of intent narrative, adding some information about it, and I'll be working with John. But I just wanted to alert the commission that that would be something we would have to be coming back to you on probably within the next 30 to 60 days. But I
Right,
appreciate
we'll be here.
appreciate all your good work on this, and we look forward to following up. Thank you.
All right, excellent. All right, thank you. Next item is file number 250-1157, 39 N Drive. And this one, there is not a single item in yellow.
Yeah, I apologize. There are areas I did update that aren't in yellow.
Oh, right, I see that you have findings that are not standard, but the actual conditions, there's nothing that departs from our basic conditions. Is that a fair statement?
Right. So one of the findings calculates or summarizes the extent of riverfront that's still allowable on the property for any permits that the applicant's seeking in the future. And also for the project, what it's just calculates it. The other is the reason why the commission is amenable to allowing for this septic leaching field to be within the 100-foot riparian zone, because it would have been subject to more detriment, more disruption within that area, vegetation removal, ground disturbance, things of that nature. So in essence, it's a good alternative because it's within the existing lawn, which was previously disturbed anyway. So that's just us basically saying why we're selecting that as the alternative. But besides that, it's pretty consistent with our typical single-family residential orders of conditions.
All right, any questions, comments, motions?
I'll make a motion to issue the order of conditions for file 250-1157 as written.
Second.
Second.
Motion by Lisa. Paxton gets the second. Mark and Dan, how do you vote?
Aye.
Aye.
Paxton and Lisa,
Aye.
Aye.
and Joe?
Aye.
And I'll vote aye. Motion carries. We are now up to draft minutes. And I have no comments on the minutes. They all seem to be exactly what happened. Hey, did I miss anything or anybody want to make a comment?
No comments.
I had some font issues, but that's besides the point. I can fix those.
Sir. Dan, you didn't pick up on the font issues? You're slipping, Dan.
Oh,
Never mind.
yeah, I think it's I'm not gonna worry about the font. As long as it isn't Comic Sans or Papyrus.
I would never do Papyrus.
I know.
Well, yeah, I mean, the formal and the written form of hieroglyphics, they're still, 6 of one, half dozen of the other. So
Yeah, I think we should allow hieroglyphics. I mean, Megan, if you want to, write
Always
the
wanted to
minutes in
learn another-
hieroglyphics.
Want to learn another language? That'd be fun.
I think the next meeting
There you
minutes
go.
are going to be in wingdings, so better watch out.
all right.
Megan, let me tell you, you only have to go 20 miles away to learn hieroglyphics because Brown has Egyptology. So you're all set.
Wow, I better start driving.
And we won't tell you what language you're going to learn if you actually wind up in Congress, but that's another issue.
All right, I think we need a motion
We're
to
ready.
accept the minutes as drafted for 6/10/2024.
So moved.
Motion by Lisa and Dan, I think that was a second.
Second.
So motion by Lisa, seconded by Dan, Mark and Dan,
Aye.
Aye.
Paxton and Lisa,
Aye.
Aye.
Joe,
Aye.
and I'll throw an aye. Old business, new business.
So some updates coming through. I won't be here on the 22nd of July. It's my birthday, and my wife's taking me away for my 40th birthday, so I'll be out and about. And then on the 12th, I'll be coming back from Portugal, so I won't be around. So that falls on a couple of our meeting dates, right, Megan?
Yeah, 8/12 is, and then the 22nd.
I will
We're
be
gonna,
gone, yeah.
So
John, I had emailed you, I'm going to be away on the 8th,
okay.
July 8th.
Okay. So I guess, as we move forward, this is the summertime for everybody to take some time off from all the hard work that everybody does. So if you want to just let me know what meetings you may potentially miss moving forward, I'll try to coordinate to see if we can, arrange to have meetings swapped around or just canceled in general. So if you could all just give me an itinerary of what meetings you might be missing over the next 2 to 3 months, that'd be great. That way we can coordinate.
Well, I can tell you right now, John, my life is as boring as it gets, and I should be here all the time.
Well, Dan, if that's the case, I have a lot of work for you to do. You just signed yourself
Like I
up.
said, I will be in Fiji for almost the entirety of the summer. But have a good one, everybody.
Sounds good.
Yeah,
Dan.
I will miss August 26th. And I don't know what it is after that, but yeah, I might be missing a couple
Okay.
as time goes on.
Yeah, so if everybody could just give me an idea, because I know this is the time when people take vacation and take time off. So you just want to send me over a list of dates you might not be able to attend. We'll try to coordinate from our end.
I'm sorry, John.
So,
What was the day that you were taking off again?
I'm not gonna be here July 22nd, and I'm not gonna be here August 12th.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not so bad.
Well, I'll be here, but I'll be flying back, so I'll be on my way here. So Monday.
So our meeting schedule is going to be second and fourth routinely for the rest of the year. Second and fourth Mondays.
That's my understanding, right, Megan?
Yes.
Okay. Because I have to look forward at the schedule and see.
Yeah. What I'll do is I'll recirculate the meeting agenda to everybody, so that way everybody can see it, and just see if you can't make those meetings, just let me know.
Yeah. So Megan, I'll send you a list of meetings I'm not going to be able to make.
Okay.
So, did you attach the bylaw to it, or did you add it to the Google Docs, or no?
I updated it. Megan, did we upload it to the bylaw to
I
there?
didn't see
For
it.
Google Drive?
I might not have. That might have been my.
It's okay. Well, I'll have it uploaded tomorrow.
Okay.
The most revised one. I basically stripped it down, I think maybe a year or two ago, and I haven't touched it since, but I'll let everybody, comment on it. I was gonna just, if you want to download it or put it in the Google Drive, make comments, feel free to do so. Dan, I know you're aching to get on that, so I'll let you work on that. All right.
On the okay. Yeah.
All right.
Well, I would like to get it done because, but how are we going to go? Are we going to meet or something, or am I just going to?
Well, I think it's probably best for you to take a look at it, because I'm gonna upload it tomorrow when I get back to the office, and then we can coordinate a time where you, me, and I think Paxton, you were the other person that was gonna get involved in this little subcommittee, and we can talk about it and see kind of what you guys think, and then we can pitch it to the commission. Dan, I'll let you lead the discussions, okay? And we can kind of
Right.
work things through.
Sounds good. I will look at it tomorrow.
Awesome. Thanks, Dan.
Sure thing. Thank you, John.
I have nothing
So,
else.
Anything else? All right. My garden is growing. It's liking all this rain.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
All right. Well, I don't want to keep everybody, so motion to adjourn.
Oh, we don't have anything else to do, really.
Except eat dinner.
Do we?
I gotta go water my plants.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Take care, everybody.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.